All right. Cautious optimism. All right. Well, it is week 6, day 3, part 1, and it's 2:19 p.m. Truth be told, we've just been playing video games all morning. So let the record show that John was shooting guns, Zach was jumping off a cliff, and Kevin was you were in the lab. Disc golf, that's right.
We also ate some pizza.
What happened in the charades? Anyways, online interactions are not rated by the ESRB. All right, what we're going to be talking about this afternoon is going to be a fairly short sprint lecture, and this lecture has a number of prerequisites. So if you're following along, or maybe if you're just going back and looking at the list of lectures, this lecture is going to be very low value to just jump in and try to follow along with, mainly because it requires the contact list project complete to completion of what we've been working up to now. So you can't just like try to code along with it and get it from the start. We also already deployed the basic API to Heroku. So you see that when I ask for all the contacts, it gives me this kind of basic page. There is data, but there's 2 things that are wrong here. Okay, with that out of the way, if you are not watching this with the intention of trying to code along, then you can just kind of listen and have fun with that. But what I'm going to cover this afternoon is the first step is to make it so that our database is not using SQLite. We haven't gone too far into detail what SQLite is, but you can imagine that SQLite is like a database contained in a single file. And you can use it as a database as you would with Postgres. But Postgres, remember, is a service. So you remember when we used Postgres back in week 3, we want to convert our Django project to use Postgres, not SQLite. The second part is that we want our application to serve static files. And with our previous lecture, week 6, day 2, we had some trouble getting static files deployed to Heroku, and we can fix that. Like there's enough information around the internet to get that taken care of. So the first thing I want to do is to have the application running with a database. What I want to show that's kind of cool here is that we've been running with Python manage py run server, and that runs it through the development server. I also want to show a cool command that you can do that will bring up the simulated stack that Heroku runs on your local computer. And I'm a little rusty here, but I believe it's Heroku run web. No, that's not what I want to do. Don't type that. What if you did? Okay, what we want to do... Oh, whoops. Probably shouldn't have done that. Should not have done that. Oh. You have to do Heroku run web local. Forgot that. Sorry, folks. Wait, that's not working either. Heroku run local. Is it Heroku run local? Heroku local. I'm so close. Oh, I got it backwards. Heroku local web. Heroku local web. There we go. So did that work for everybody? Heroku local web? I'm sorry that confusion was there. But so we can go to localhost 5000 now. And this is running the same stack that Heroku is running in the deployed environment, meaning when we go to contacts, notice that this stuff doesn't work here either. Like the static files doesn't work, and our database is still pulling from SQLite. The Heroku local web, running the whole production stack locally, is good for debugging problems that you're having in Heroku and you don't want to go dig through those logs. You could try to replicate it here and see what the problem is. But it's not how you typically want to work day to day. Typically, we're probably just going to want to do the whole local run server through manage py. So I just wanted to show you that cool thing where you can run Heroku locally there. Oops. Jeez, everything's popping up.
So like if you had this app running in Heroku live on the internet that you wanted to test making changes to it before pushing them out, you would live web server.
Yeah, you could get away with most things, but like the reason I mentioned the Heroku local was that if you're having an issue not with your application, but possibly something with configuration, and all you're getting are 503 errors, and you don't know why, and you don't understand what's going on with your log, you could run it locally and to see if you could replicate it locally. So
that'd probably be a good thing to do to test before actually pushing any changes out to the log.
yeah, that would be a good place to do some sort of quality assurance before you push it out, definitely. All right, that's the CLI. This is the step-by-step. What we want to do, where's the database? Provision a database. Okay, so I don't know if you all have this same link still open where we got the web worker downloaded or the information from, but I'm going to go ahead and link you all to it. Carolina Code School. Come on, let's go. Slack goes so fast, doesn't it? So here's the link to where I'm going to be referring to. No thanks. Don't do that. So you go there, you'll be able to see the same documentation. Notice, though, that in this directory, if we type Heroku add-ons, it should have added a Postgres database for us on a host called PostgreSQL Crystalline. Yours is probably called something different, though. Control-C, sorry. I exited out of the Heroku local by hitting Control-C. So if you type Heroku add-ons, you'll see the database as well, right? Cool. And you can also type Heroku config. We'll show you all the database configuration. Like here's your disable or the database URL, and then the fact that we're disabling the collect static. So this database URL is all the information that your app needs to connect to the database. It's got the login name, it's got the password, which on this, as of the screen recording is not secure anymore because they can see my login, my password, and the host name. See something interesting about that host name? Heroku actually just is a sort of application wrapper on top of Amazon. So even though Heroku is owned by Salesforce, I don't think Salesforce is owned by Amazon. Just give it time. Everything's going to come full circle. It's the whole cradle-to-grave data picture somebody's building of you. Anyways, and then here's our database name. Like it's DFFM, all sorts of weird stuff that it created for us. Okay, so we can be assured that by creating our app earlier, it also created a database for us. Wasn't that nice of it? We don't have to pay anything for it either. Yes, but our app is not using it. That's a problem. We need our app to use our Heroku database for when it's in production. Locally, we want it to use a local Postgres database. So we need to do that configuration. I was expecting there to be a little bit more information on here, but there's not. What we need to do is DJ Heroku database. There it is, DJ database URL. So this is what we were looking for here. With pipenv, we want to import the DJ database URL. And we also need to install scopg2 binary. I'm sorry, I'm running through a couple of things in my head, which is why it's I'm just making sure that everything is going to work correctly. So let's go to our terminal and let's pip env install. And we're going to pip env install the new version of psychopg2 binary because it's been telling us to install that all cohorts. So let's just do it. So we're going to say psycho pg2 -binary. And then we're also going to pipm install DJ database URL. Does anybody else see this courtesy notice here? Pipm found itself running within a virtual environment, so it will automatically use that environment instead of creating its own for any project. You get that as well? Good.
What was the second one?
I don't know why mine's taking forever. DJ database URL. It's pip env install DJ database URL. If you need a good record spinner for your birthday party, give DJ database URL a phone call. He keeps it real.
Freshest.
He is the freshest. We like to call him DJ Freshy Fresh. Okay, so you all removed the pip file lock. Or no, I did that all for you. I'm going to add to my git ignore. You don't have to do this. I'm going to keep my pip file from getting locked into there. Okay, so we pipm installed both that stuff, right? So let's do a git add. Let's do a git commit. Let's say we added DJ database stuff for Heroku. So the next step down here, I'm going to ignore this bit up here, but this step down here with DJ database URL, I'm going to copy and paste that and put it into my settings.py. Right below where it defines database's default. I did. I'll paste that into Slack, don't worry. That'll keep you from having to go to the page. You can just copy it from Slack.
This is going in settings.
Yes, I put it right under where I define the database's dictionary. You see that? Like both lines just go right there. All right, everybody got that? So now if we do Heroku local web, which is what it was, right? Heroku local web. Okay. We run that. It doesn't seem right. Let's see if this works. Yes! That was not the error I was planning on getting. Okay, what's going on with DJ database URL? That should be all we had to do, unless I'm not using it correctly. Wait, what is this? On Heroku, sensitive credentials are stored in environment. Database connection information, hard-coded. The Django Heroku package automatically configures your... What? Wow, this is brand new. Like, this is new since the new year. I've never used that before. What? How does it even work, though? I'm sorry, I'm having a moment now.
Automatically configure same house to just work.
Right. Did Am I being pranked? Am I being punked right now? Is this like running on one of your computers or something? That's crazy. Okay, let's give that a try. Undo that pasting that in there. So go to your settings file and undo pasting that database stuff in there. And let's pip env install Django Heroku. So I'm going to Control C out of my server here. I kind of want to see what this does because I'll believe it when I see it, honestly. I'm going to do pip env install Django Heroku. This could be huge, folks. This is going to change everything. I still don't believe it. Like, I see what they're saying. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to our settings file at the very bottom. It has to be at the bottom if we were using locals. And we're going to say import Django Heroku. Oh, I broke something. Okay, so in your bottom of your settings file, import Django Heroku. And we're going to do what it says for it to do. Say Django Heroku settings with locals. So I don't actually see locals work very much, but if they were able to get it to work well, then that's cool. And you can even specify things. It's really neat. Okay, so that means if we just do Heroku local web, it didn't wire up our database correctly, but you know what? That's okay for now because we don't have a database that's not SQLite. You know what? I'm actually fine with using SQLite locally for now. But let's go ahead and push this up to our production database and see what happens. No? Didn't work? What happened?
Site can't be reached.
When you do Heroku local web?
Yeah. Let's see your Python.
Your settings file? Yeah, so this locals is a function that you have to call. Are you getting an error message?
I'll turn it back on.
Okay.
All right.
You're good now? It worked? Okay, good. So yeah, again, it did all the static file stuff. So that means that if I Control C and I send our pip file and settings up to Heroku, and it added Django Heroku madness, and I say git push origin or Heroku master, that's not going to work. But I can tell you, I know why it won't work, and it's actually really good if it does exactly what I expect it not to do. If that is not confusing enough. So what I'm expecting not to work is that it's going to connect to the database, and it's going to be good. It's going to be all happy. But when I go to access it from the web, I'll get a Django error saying it can't find the table that it's looking for, or it can't find the database, or it can find the database, but it can't find the table that it's looking for. Oh, I didn't mean to start the video game. Go away, EQ. I have to work. You keep coming back into my life. Okay, so this is my app in production. I just deployed it. I'm expecting to see a database error. Let's see what happens. Making it rain or shooting threes? What am I doing?
Making it rain error messages.
There you go. Everybody gets an error message. So what do you like? Why do you think I saw that? Well, no, not why do you think I saw that coming. What caused this to happen? What caused us to get into this situation? Because Heroku created the actual hardware resources to make the database, configured the two computers to talk to each other. Then we told our Django app to use that configuration so that our app can talk to the database. But why are we getting a database error from our application? What have we not done to the database? We haven't. You're like so close. If we were planetary objects, we would have collided by now. But you're not. We're not, and you're not. And how would we create the database? Well, Heroku, yeah. How would we create the database?
Here on Heroku.
On Heroku.
I'm guessing there's a Heroku command to
How would we create the database here on local?
Postgres, I forget the command.
Think of the geese. What do the geese have to do?
Make migrations.
They already have their plan. We already coded their plan. They need to migrate the new database. So what we need to do is we need to say Heroku run. All right, everybody follow along with me here. Heroku run. And we want to migrate that database. So we say Python manage py migrate. So everything after Heroku run is going to run that command in the context of the Heroku server. So we say Heroku run Python manage py migrate. Watch what the output looks like, assuming all goes well. Isn't that crazy? So we did that. Now when we refresh our app without even having to redeploy, watch what happens. We have a database. Okay, Django Heroku gets my vote for Library of the Year. We're halfway through the year. I have confidence that's going to be awesome. I still don't know how they do it. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't know how it's so smooth. And that's what I don't like that when that happens in programming, when like I don't have an idea of how something might be working under the hood. I'm gonna have to go look at the code. Oh, of course, it's a Kenneth Reitz project. We all know Kenneth Reitz from records, requests, Django Heroku. Yeah, man, this guy deserves some scratch on his Patreon. Well, that's great because that covered the static files part. We don't have to worry about like static files in Django has always been a problem, and I was actually kind of dreading talking to you all about it because it's like multi-step. It's hard to describe why you have to do it. It's one of those things that with Django, if you ask why are you doing that, usually the answer is just like because they said it has to be that way. Now stop questioning me and go eat your cupcake. So that was all we had to do. And when we look at it step by step, all we had to do was install psychopg2. We didn't have to install the DJ database URL. That Django Heroku replaced the needed for that. So all we had to do to get static files in the database running was to install psychopg2 binary, Django Heroku. Then we deployed, or no, we added the configuration to settings. We deployed, and then we migrated. And we had our database was wired up in production. Let's see if we can create something. I'm going to say, let's make a contact. I'm going to send it over as a form data. Oh, no, I don't want to send it over as form data. I don't even remember what I need to do for a contact. Let's just see if it still works to create something. Just a name and a phone number. Categories are null. So I can say name is Joel. Phone number. Oh, wait, this has to be JSON, does it? Let's do the right thing. Phone number is 123.123.123.4. All right, I'm going to send that over, see if it works. Wait, what? Did I not call it name? I thought I did. Name, phone number, category. Let's take a look. Oh, I don't need to be logged in, do I? We didn't add that to the contact. Yeah, that was back then. Name, phone number. If it's category, it's none. Creates the new contact, serializes it, and brings it back. Okay, let's post it. Doing the same thing. But nothing was coming over the post data with key of name. Okay, no big deal. No big deal. We can. Let me go ahead and go to Postman. Maybe the API client is just broken in Django REST. And maybe I'm just doing it wrong. That's perfectly valid as well. I'm going to change this to be a post. I'm going to post over a strange person. Okay, so let's send over the name and phone number to that endpoint with a post. Oh, it works now. Let's put the VR headset on his head when he wakes up. He'll be like so tripped out. Don't know how. There it is. Who in their right mind would want a gradient like that? There we go. Perfect. All right, so that's really all I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to show you static files, and I wanted to show you the database stuff. Are there any questions?
You just went through that list of things.
You want me to go do it again? Django Heroku. We added the configuration to our settings py file at the very bottom. I'll show you that. These two lines right here. We added it all to Git. We said we made a Git commit all along the way. If you don't make a Git commit and you try to do a Heroku deploy, it will not work. Like, let me say that that's one of the most important things. It will not work if you don't have it in Git. Like, because if you just keep trying to type, if you're making changes and you say git push Heroku master, it doesn't matter how many times you push it. Your changes are not going up to get deployed. You have to commit it, and then it will get caught into Heroku. Okay?
So the Psycho PG2, like, we've installed that, so now it's installed. So we don't really have to worry about it.
Exactly. Exactly. You do, I mean, the way that Heroku seems like, obviously, if you couldn't tell, I haven't deployed a Django 2.0 app to production yet. Like, I haven't had to do that. So they've added some new things, like with pipenv. Pipenv is new with Heroku and Django, as is Django Heroku thing. In my opinion, they made it a lot better. So you install your dependencies with pipenv, it creates that pip file, and that's what Heroku installs things from.
So why are we doing pip and v instead of the usual pip?
I'm not going to spread conspiracies here, But there's a certain name that's popping up a lot in our development here. You see that right up there?
Right.
I'm just going to leave this here. Whoops. Oh, it looks like it must have stepped away from it. PipEnv is another Kenneth Reed's project. So he's got his hands on a lot of things. He works probably more than anybody should on open source, probably to the detriment to his own sanity in some cases. Yeah, see, there it is right there. Follow Kenneth Reed's. It was on there. More Kenneth Reed's projects. I mean, he's a super great developer. He obviously cares about the community because he makes all these things that make coding easier in Python. But that is why I think that pipenv was chosen as part of the workflow, because Kenneth works at Heroku. He's like, I made this tool that is very useful and a lot of people are contributing to. This is part of the workflow. In my opinion, from what we just did in class here, this is the easiest I've ever deployed a Django app. It's never been this easy. They're always making it better, obviously. And I can say that it's a good improvement. It's more opinionated is what it is. Yeah.
So could we go through, because between today and yesterday, I'm a little lost of what steps we did where to get an app on there. So do we step by step go, I mean, now that all those little flows are figured out, can we step by step go through and do it with our portfolios now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it with our portfolios here. Can I pull down one of your portfolios and deploy it as my own? Just so I have a project to go with, and one of you will be super lucky that I did your work for you. Okay, all of you pick a number between 1 and 100. Closest without going over wins.
67.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I'm not even joking.
That's insane.
That was really weird. I'm just sitting here with my eyes closed thinking 67, and he got it exactly. I guess that's blackjack. Does anybody else want to guess, by the way?
I'm going to go 73, which would have been a pretty good guess.
All right.
So,
GitHub.
We're all in the same.
What is going on? Why is Kevin? It's Kevin Beach, right? Or
Kevin Reed's.
K.
321, I think.
Oh, that's right. I do my grading on my home PC. That's why. All right, Kevin, follow along.
All right, go top.
No, you guys don't deploy Kevin's portfolio. You deploy your own.
Good idea.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it down and I'm going to deploy it as if it were my own project. Okay. Actually, I'm just gonna you know what? I'm just gonna put it into projects. Okay. So I'm gonna git clone Beach portfolio. It says dir env allow. I'm going to say dir env allow. Okay, so starting at 2:52. Guys, I think this is only going to take us like 10, 15 minutes to do. So
Hold on a second.
no, it's going to take us 20 minutes then. Do 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 do. Beep beep beep. All right, let me close all this down. I'm going to open up Atom in this directory. Okay, so there's a number of things here that we're going to need to do. First, we need to install pip install pipenv. So I remember I started this at 2:53 for your notes later. This is when we started the sprint. And I'm not going to guarantee that this is not going to be without errors. Actually, before we get started, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this runs. So Kevin, I need to make sure your portfolio works. So hopefully it works. You don't need to follow along here, but this is an essential step that you could do yourself. I'm going to say python manage py run server. Okay, that's a good error to get. It just said that I need to install Django. So I'm going to do a pip env install Django.
We're all doing that.
Yep. I'm sorry, I said you're not following along with me. Then I sent to go fix that problem, and I never said to start following along with me. So yeah, so everything that we need to add, we're going to add through pip env. And this would take 15 minutes if this wouldn't take forever.
So first you install pip env, and then you install everything through pip env.
Yes. Okay. I also know that we want to do pip env, and we're going to install Django REST framework. So let's just get that out of the way as well. Kevin, you're going to need to come through here and make sure these responses are serializing your portfolio project and returning it. Let's just do a full code review and really pick them apart right now. Just kidding. I'm not really going to do that. Okay, so I've got Django REST. I've got Django. Let's see if I can Python manage py run server. I'm just going to go to the slash route. Yeah. I'm going to go to the slash route. See if it works.
So I gotta
There's a mockup. Awesome. It's a good start, man. My favorite paragraph is this one.
put a lot of thought in that.
Like, tell. So what was your question?
I resolved it.
Projects. All right, so I know that the portfolio works. It's serving up static files. I don't have any projects created, but I'm not worried about that right now. All right, app runs. So I installed my dependencies. The app probably already has them configured to work in installed apps right here. Boom, boom. Everybody, so check your installed apps. There should be app here. We probably would want to add, since we have portfolio list API views, if you want to use the browsable API, which it's not completely necessary, but if you want to use the browsable API, I would suggest putting Django REST, or not Django REST, but REST framework in installed apps. That will get you the nice browsable interface. If not, don't worry about it. REST underscore framework, correct. So you'd say REST underscore. I'll make that change here myself, even though it's not completely critical to everything yet. So that should be good for the base app. So when I'm looking through everything, I've got migrations, I've got a database here that I really don't care about. Now what I want to do is I want to start setting up my Heroku project, okay? So let's go back to our iTerm. Who remembers the Heroku? Whoa. Okay. PYC files, no big deal. Who remembers the Heroku command to start a new Heroku project?
So before we touch on that, when I did that, I did get the pip file lock.
Oh, you did? Okay. No big deal. What we can do is you can go into git ignore before you make a commit and just say pip file.lock in there. And then that will get rid of it from your untracked files. I don't know why my pip env is not creating a pip file lock and all of yours is.
So what, can you go back to Adam where you added that to get it?
Yeah. Right here? Where do you want to see it? In git ignore? PyCache with a C, not an S. You know what? I'm not going to change that.
And mine's still showing up under my untracked files. That assignment.
So did you add pip file.lock like that? And when you do type git status? Yeah, it definitely needs to be perfectly the same.
Should or shouldn't be, but mine's under untracked.
Yeah, mine's
filed up. I've got pip file.
Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. You're in the wrong directory. If you go into Beach Portfolio, the git ignore is right there. Move that git ignore back one directory. So drag and drop that git ignore up to the higher up Beach Portfolio. Nope, that's where it already is. One more up. Try to be fancy. Okay, so now go back, or just to git status here. See, now it's gone. All right, John, you said you didn't have a git ignore file?
Yeah.
So just create a git ignore file right next to that pip file. So like control click up here on
Right
Hester
here.
Portfolio.
Right.
Nope, one more up. I think. Yeah, one more up. New file. .git ignore. And just add pip file.lock to that.
Don't we need to have other stuff?
You do, but you don't need for right now. You're fine now.
Okay.
So go do a git status in the terminal. It's gone. Did you do that too, Zach? It needs to be in this.
Mine looks like yours.
You don't have pip file locked? Okay, perfect. You're good then. Okay, back on track. Let's do this. Now that we have all of our dependencies good, we've got our app wired up. We need to make a couple of files. We need to make a proc file. Oh, wait, no, we're jumping ahead a little bit. We need to install one more dependency, and that's our web server. So that's pip. Does anybody remember what it's called? It's an awesome mythical creature with a firearm for an appendage. Gunicorn. Pip env install Gunicorn.
We're always going to need to add that pip file.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't think you will. It's just to give us an issue for the first time we tried it. So I don't feel good putting it back. All right. We also are going to need to pip env install psycho pg2-binary. And we're also going to need to pip env install Django Heroku. You got those things all installed? Okay. The next thing we're going to make right next to our pip file is a proc file, so it tells our web server how to run. So we're going to say new file up at the root of the project. It says proc file. Just proc file, capital P. Now, Kevin, I think you might encounter issues. It all depends. We'll cover who's going to encounter what issues depending on your data, your structure, because my structure is going to be a little bit different from yours, even though we have the same project. I have one less beach portfolio deep. Notice that I have the root project or the root base, then I have the project. You have that one extra beach portfolio where like the pip file and stuff are. You're going to put your proc file there. And inside the proc file, we're going to define the web worker to run Gunicorn. And then we need to give it the path to our WSGI file, which for me is going to be the project beach portfolio .wsgi. Now, if you have If you're one level back from that, it might be portfolio dot beach portfolio twice. It might look like that if you're one level deep. No, because yeah, exactly, because it's using the Python module syntax. So like you treat it like as if you were importing. So you would say from beach portfolio import WSGI. That's how you would do it. So we use that same syntax. And the documentation said to do some log file stuff. I'm not going to bother with that right now. All right, so we've got our web worker ready. We've got our pip file to say what the dependencies are. Now we need to bring in Django Heroku into our settings.py file at the very bottom. So at the very bottom, we're going to say import Django Heroku. And then we say Django underscore Heroku dot settings. And you say locals, open and close parentheses. Okay, everybody got that? Scroll up to the top. We also need to add star to our allowed hosts. We want to allow everyone on the internet to connect to our computer. Or to, not to our computer, but to our application. So add a string of star to allowed hosts. I'm like going through a punch list in my head of all this stuff. I think we've got it all. So let's go hit up the Heroku stuff, okay? You ready for this? All right, so the next command we're going to do is Heroku create. That created protected temple for me. That's pretty cool right there. My body is a protected temple.
Like an ancient temple. Man.
Mysteries of the ancient protected temple.
Glacial.
Glacial what?
Inlet.
Glacial inlet? That actually
Rocky
works.
Shelf.
Rocky Shelf.
Good.
That's like Rocky Shelf is like the drummer from a 1970s hard rock band.
He's definitely dead.
He's definitely, oh yeah, he died in a bus accident in '86. And now from the University of North Carolina. Okay, so we've got Heroku created. We've got our app here. I'm going to go ahead and do a git add, git commit, added Heroku's fun stuff. I'm going to git push Heroku master, and I'm going to hope for the best.
We have to set the remote.
No, because it already did that, because it's already a Git repository. So since Git was already enabled, it automatically set the remote for us.
So I kind of freaked out when I did that.
What do you mean it freaked out, Kevin?
Gave me a bunch of hints.
Like, this might not be a great idea.
Yeah.
Here's some hints.
Like 15 rows of them.
You have a Git repository inside of a Git repository. That's what the first hint said.
Sounds messy. So like.
I'm just going to walk away real quick. I don't know how you got there. But it ain't my fault, so I ain't helping you. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what I'm going to do, brother. Well, let's just get through this demonstration, and then we can focus on yours for a sec, okay? I don't know how you got there, but I'm sure we could fix it easy.
My push rejected failed to call Python.
Sweet. Let's see what mine says. Ooh, 365 Python. Hello. What did we forget to do? What could possibly have broken? Static files worked. Web worked. Compressing and deploying. My guess is it might be the path. All right, let's check my protected temple. I feel weird saying that. Okay.
It's like some weird.
I just deployed my portfolio to Kevin's protected temple. I keep saying it because Zach can't control himself over there.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so we got 2 errors and a hint saying you probably shouldn't be doing what you. At least Kevin's Git repository was nice to him. So I'm going to stop the video now because this is how it should have gone, but all of yours was how it actually went. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to end. Oh wait, hold on a sec. I need to turn off this thing that said Kevin fell asleep.
It's a good nap. Real late last night.
We were like whispering while we were like, okay, then
Thanks,
the next
guys.
thing. And then you woke up and it was really awkward.
You weren't.
What was I going to do? I forgot.
It's gonna stop the video and fix this.
No, I wasn't going to do that. That doesn't sound like me. I was going to do something with the video. It's going to stop the video and help all of you with your stuff. But before that, I can't remember what I was going to do. I'm sure it'll come to me. Okay, I'm going to stop the video now.